My brother Mike's coming over to the ranch today, and I am so excited. My husband Lad's on his way over to Bartlesville to pick Mike up, so I'm getting a big lunch ready for him, including simple, perfect enchiladas. Mike has loved enchiladas his whole life. It's his absolute favorite food, and he loves this version. In fact, he requested it for lunch when I asked him what I could fix for him. I've got 2 tablespoons of canola oil, and I mixed in 2 tablespoons of flour. And this is the start of the sauce. Now I whisk the flour and oil together to make a paste, and now I'll pour in 2 cups of chicken broth. I always use low sodium or unsalted chicken broth because you can always add more salt later, but you can't take it out once you add it. My mom used to make these enchiladas, and they originally came from my father's mother's husband's sister's husband, I think. But he was actually from Mexico, so he had all these great recipes. I think he was technically my great uncle, but it's more fun to describe it the way I did. All right, this is starting to thicken a little bit, so I'll just add in a whole can of just regular old enchilada sauce. And then I'll add a little salt and pepper, about a half a teaspoon of each. While this thickens up, it's the perfect opportunity for me to give you the scoop on my wonderful, fabulous, perfect brother, Mike. Mike's one of my 2 older brothers, and we've always had a real special relationship. He lives in our hometown of Bartlesville, and everyone there knows him, loves him, and treats him like a friend. Mike has a pretty cool life. He's worked as a bailiff in court, gone on calls with police officers, and was even named honorary fire chief of the state of Oklahoma. He makes the world a better place, and from my point of view, he's pretty much the best brother ever. All right, the sauce is looking absolutely perfect, so I'm gonna turn it down to a simmer and crank up another skillet so I can get started on the meat mixture. I've got a pound of ground beef. Beef enchiladas are Mike's favorite. And first, I'll drizzle in a little canola oil and add some diced onion. You know, these enchiladas actually have quite a few steps to them. They really are simple. Each step is really easy, but there are quite a few things to do. All right, the onions are going, so I'll throw in the meat. This recipe only uses a pound of beef, but it actually feeds quite a few people. You get about 14 enchiladas out of the deal. I'll just crumble up the meat and let it brown for a little while. Lad left about an hour ago to pick up Mike, so he should be getting there right about now.
How are you, Mike?
Good.
You ready to go do some work?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We got some hard work lined up for you.
Really?
You've been working out, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, the meat's nice and brown. So I'll turn off the heat, and then I'm gonna drain off the fat. The enchiladas have plenty going for them. They do not need the excess fat from the meat. There's not too much. Perfect. Now I'll sprinkle in a little salt and pepper. Stir it in, and that's the basic meat mixture. So I'll let that sit while I get started on the tortillas. I've got a small skillet over medium-high heat, and I'll pour in just enough canola oil for it to coat the whole bottom of the pan. Now I've got corn tortillas, and I'm just gonna fry them pretty lightly. The idea is just to moisten them up. You don't wanna fry them till they're crisp. So one by one, I'll just drop the tortillas into the hot oil. Just let it sit in there for a few seconds, and then it's time to flip it over. Again, you don't want to get any crispiness on the tortilla, so probably 10 seconds in, it's time to take it out of the pan. And then I just put it on a paper towel lined plate to drain the excess oil, and drop in the next tortilla. This goes pretty quickly once you start. Just don't get distracted and go check on your laundry, because you'll have a really crispy tortilla when you come back. Don't ask me how I know this. My My brother Mike's coming out to the ranch today. I am so excited. My husband Lad went over to Bartlesville to pick him up, and I've been throwing together a very Mike-friendly meal of simple, perfect enchiladas. I'm gonna assemble the enchiladas, but first, I'll put about a half a cup of this yummy sauce in the bottom of the pan. It just gives the enchiladas a great foundation, and it makes the whole thing really messy and gooey and wonderful. All right, now I'll start putting the enchiladas together. I'm gonna use a plate because this is very messy. I'll grab one of the tortillas and I dip it in the sauce to totally coat it, get it on the plate. Now I'll start by spooning on a little bit of the meat mixture. And then I have some really finely diced black olives. After that, I've got some sliced green onions, gives it a nice sharpness. Some regular old diced green chilies. At the end, as much cheese as I can fit in there. And then fold it up, hope that it closes, and it did. Put it seam side down in the pan. All right, that's 1 down, 13 to go. All right, I got them all in there. Now I'll take the rest of the sauce and it just gets poured right over the top. What a yummy pan of enchiladas. Beautiful. And then on goes the rest of the cheese. Enchiladas have to be covered with tons of melted cheese. It is written. And I've got a bunch more good stuff, mostly green onions, but still some black olives, a couple of chilies, and those just go over the top. And then I'm just gonna keep this in the fridge, bake it later, and I know my brother Mike is gonna be one happy guy. Mikey!
Wait,
Give me a
I'm so
hug.
crazy about you.
Give me a hug, yay! Mwah. What do you wanna do today?
Drive to Rhino and you're not driving.
What do you mean I'm not driving? I'll take you on a ride in the Rhino.
I get to drive.
Of course.
Okay, let's go.
I'll see y'all later.
All right, Mike's gonna go take me for a drive now. Not too fast. Okay, go around that way now, because you're gonna hit that groove in the road. Ah!
So tell me about lunch.
I made you sushi.
Sissy.
Well, Mikey, you think we ought to head up and see what Lad's up to?
Yeah.
I think he's waiting for you.
Hi, lad.
Hey, Mike.
Boy, was that an adventure. All right, I'm gonna go in and get
We're gonna
food
go
ready.
check on Josh.
Okay.
All right, you guys have fun.
All right, see you, honey.
Mike, you're not driving?
Come on, lad.
Why don't you let Mike drive, honey?
I got a surprise for him.
What kind of surprise is that, lad?
Well, put your seatbelt on and I'll show you.
Bye, guys.
All right, you ready?
Oh my gosh.
Mike loves hanging out with Lad. A little more than he likes hanging out with me, I think. All right, the enchiladas need to bake in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes till they're hot and bubbly. Mike, here's the sushi.
Looks good, honey.
Otherwise known as enchiladas.
Oh man.
You'd rather have sushi, would you, Mike?
No.
There you go, Mikey. Dig in.